All right, welcome back for another deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
This time we're going to be looking at Pastor Jerry Eyes and his sermon, God of the 11th Hour.
Oh,
So we got the YouTube video from his channel, and we're going
yeah.
to be kind of unpacking this unique perspective on faith, history, miracles.
I think one of the first things that really struck me about this sermon is how energetic it is.
Yeah.
But then when you really listen, Pastor Ihais delivers a really nuanced message,
Yeah.
right? It's not just about like getting swept away by the moment.
Right.
There's like a depth to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it goes beyond the surface level.
It would be easy to just write it off as like another charismatic sermon.
Right.
But there are some layers here that I think are really going to resonate with our listeners.
Yeah.
Like this whole idea about the God of the 11th hour is super powerful.
It is.
Um,
And I think it's so powerful because it's something everyone can relate to, right?
Yeah.
Like we've all had those moments where the pressure is on and everything is going wrong.
Right.
And he's offering this message of hope.
Totally.
It's like even in those impossible situations, God can still come through.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you're watching a soccer match, like, he uses those examples of Nigeria playing Guinea and Russia. And it's like, all hope is lost.
Right.
But then, like, there's a last-minute substitution and they win, you know?
Totally.
It's a great analogy, right? It speaks to the power of faith to just defy expectations.
Yes. And like that anticipation,
Yeah.
that feeling of everything hanging in the balance, it's like palpable in the sermon.
Yes.
It's like he draws you in, right?
Yeah.
Makes you feel the weight of those final seconds and then
Yeah.
breakthrough.
It's like he's saying, look, I know you've been through a lot. Your history might be full of setbacks and disappointments.
Right.
But, like, don't let that define your future. Don't get stuck in the past.
It's really interesting how he emphasizes the present and the future,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Like he wants his congregation to break free from those failures
Mm-hmm.
and embrace faith in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Right now.
And I think that leads us right into this tension between history and faith.
Yeah.
Because he's not sugarcoating anything.
No.
Like, he acknowledges the good and bad.
Right.
That he says, don't let those experiences limit your potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this phrase that he uses. He says, tell the devil what has not been seen.
Oh, yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's like a call to break free from negativity
Mm-hmm.
and to start speaking words of faith even when your past says otherwise,
That's such a crucial point because, sometimes we underestimate the power of our words,
Totally.
like the way we talk to ourselves about things.
Yeah.
So he's saying we should be aligning our words with God's promises, speaking out what we believe,
Yes.
even if it's impossible.
Yeah, it's about shifting our focus from limitations to possibilities.
Right,
Like he even says to share your word of faith with a neighbor for a whole minute.
right. And that kind of gets at the fact that faith isn't just a personal thing.
Yeah.
Like we're supposed to share it, to live it out with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And this leads us into another key theme, trusting in Jesus versus relying on seasons.
Okay, this part really got me thinking.
Hmm?
He's basically saying, don't wait for the right time. And
Yeah.
like, faith can overcome any limitations.
Exactly.
So can you maybe talk about what he means by seasons
Sure.
and how that connects to trusting in Jesus?
Okay, so he's pushing back against this idea that, like, we're bound by time or circumstances.
Okay.
Like, there's a predetermined order to our lives and we can't change it.
Right.
So he uses the example of Joshua stopping the sun,
Oh, yeah.
literally altering seasons,
Yeah.
to say, like, look, faith can transcend those limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he says, him is more important to me than studying season.
So are you saying instead of saying it's not the right time or I missed my chance, we should be saying
Yeah.
with God, anything is possible?
Yes, he's putting the focus on faith in Jesus, not on external factors.
Yep.
And that willingness to believe in the impossible,
Mm-hmm.
it can really change your life.
It makes me think of that quote, people who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those who are doing it.
Right.
It's like Pastor Eze saying, don't let your doubts or the doubts of others stop you from believing in what God can do.
That's a great connection.
Right.
And it leads us right into how he breaks down Jesus' command to rise, take up your bed, and walk.
Oh, yeah, this is fascinating.
Right.
He uses that as a model for, like, total healing and restoration.
And it's not just physical healing.
No, it's way more than that.
Right.
It's a complete transformation of, like, our spirit and mind and body.
Exactly.
Right.
And he makes it so profound but also practical at the same time. First, he talks about rising in spirit,
Okay.
which is about having faith even when you don't see the results yet.
Right.
And, he has this great phrase,
Yeah.
let your spirit stay risen.
Wow.
It's about staying hopeful no matter what's happening.
Okay, so then what's next?
Okay, so next he talks about taking up your bed,
Okay.
which he connects to, like taking control of those areas of your life where you've been held back.
Wow, that's powerful. So
Right.
like recognizing those challenges and overcoming them.
Exactly. It's about taking back your power
Yeah.
and not letting the past define you.
Okay, and finally he says walk forward.
Yes.
What's that all about?
So that's about like the journey of faith,
Mm-hmm.
the continuous process of growing and changing and trusting God.
Right.
It's about not staying stuck, but moving toward a better future.
Yeah, it's about taking those steps, even if they're scary, and trusting that God's got you.
Exactly.
I love how this gives us a real, tangible way to use these principles in our lives.
Yeah.
It's like a roadmap from brokenness to wholeness.
And it goes right back to the God of the 11th hour.
Yeah.
It's that idea that even when we're at our lowest point, God can still turn things around.
It's a message of hope and resilience and unwavering faith in a God who is always working for us, even when we can't see it.
And that's a message we can all hold on to.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
No matter what. Even though he's talking to this specific congregation, his message feels so universal.
Yeah.
It's like he's speaking to anyone who's ever felt, overwhelmed or stuck or out of options.
Yeah. He has this way of connecting with people on such a personal level. Like he's talking directly to their fears and anxiety.
Right.
It's remarkable, actually.
Yeah, and he doesn't just try to, brush over those emotions.
No, he embraces them.
Yeah, he acknowledges the pain and the struggles.
Yeah, and there's real empathy in his words, a genuine desire to see his listeners break free from those things.
And he's not offering, some quick fix or, superficial sense of hope.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah, he's challenging us to really look at our beliefs and to, make sure our actions match what we say we believe.
Exactly. And that's where taking dominion comes in.
Right?
It's not just waiting for God to do everything.
No.
It's about, being a part of the process and taking responsibility for our choices.
Okay.
So he's saying, rise up. Take ownership of your life.
Right. We have this authority as children of God. It's amazing how he connects that to, taking up your bed and letting go of the past hurts. Or even just, the burdens of everyday life.
It's like he's saying, let it go. You don't have to carry that anymore.
Right.
You're free to move forward.
It's a powerful image, isn't it?
It is.
It's like faith has the power to break free from those things that hold us back.
Right, and to see ourselves through God's eyes.
Yeah.
Recognizing our own worth and value.
And stepping into, the fullness of who we are meant to be.
Absolutely.
And then walking forward. That's not a one-time thing.
No, it's a journey. It's every day trusting in God, moving forward, even when it's hard.
Yeah.
And knowing that if we stumble, he'll be there.
To help us up. Right.
Back on the path.
Yeah, I think that's a really key takeaway for our listeners.
Totally.
This journey is not always easy.
Nope.
There will be challenges, setbacks, even failures.
Right, but we're not alone.
Right.
God is with us through it all.
He is.
And, speaking of tangible steps,
Yeah.
I was struck by how he ends the sermon with that powerful call to action.
Yeah, he really drives it home.
He prays for his congregation, saying they'll see God's favor by the end of the month.
He even asks them to name their offerings the God of the 11th hour.
Wow.
Put your faith into action. Don't just listen.
Yeah.
Do something.
It's like he's saying, show me you believe in God's power to intervene.
Exactly.
Bold, for sure.
It is.
But that's what I love about his message.
Yeah.
He's pushing his listeners to get uncomfortable.
To step out in faith, to trust that God will meet them there.
It's a reminder that faith is active, not passive.
Right.
It takes courage,
To embrace the unknown.
And say, God, I believe you can do this.
Yeah.
And then live that out.
As we're talking about this, I'm realizing there's a certain vulnerability in,
Well, for sure.
really embracing this message. It's not just saying the right word.
No, it's deeper.
Yeah, it's opening yourself up to the possibility of, a miracle.
Yeah.
Even when it doesn't make sense.
Absolutely. It's about surrender.
Right.
Letting go of control. Admitting we don't have all the answers.
And trusting that God is at work.
Even when we can't see it.
And I get how that can be scary for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
To, Give up control?
It goes against everything we think we know.
Yeah.
But there's also this incredible freedom in surrender.
Oh, totally.
You're free from the burden of trying to do it all yourself.
Yeah.
You can rest in the knowledge that God is in control.
Right. It's shifting our focus from how am I going to make this happen to God, I trust you to work this out, even if it's not what I expect.
That shift can be so liberating.
So if we were to sum up this whole sermon, what's the core message?
It's this. No matter what you're facing, no matter how bad things seem, never forget that God is a God of the impossible.
Right.
He can turn things around in an instant, even at the very last second.
It's a message of hope and resilience and unwavering faith in a God who is always working for us, even when we can't see it.
And it's a call to action.
Mm-hmm.
Step out in faith, speak words of belief, and embrace the possibility of a breakthrough.
Right.
Even when the odds are against you.
He's reminding us that we serve a God who specializes in the unexpected.
Yes.
A God who can make a way where there seems to be no way.
And that's the message we can all hold on to.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
No matter what season of life we're in. That's what makes it so powerful.
Yeah.
It's timeless.
It transcends everything.
Yeah.
Our circumstances, our understanding,
Right.
even time itself.
And that leads us perfectly into our final thought for this deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, you mentioned, Pastor Izzy asking his listeners to name their offerings the God of the 11th hour.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
How does that fit with, this whole idea of surrender?
Right.
And, the miraculous...
I think it's a really symbolic act.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're making a real statement
Okay.
by naming their offering that way. It's like they're putting everything, their hope, their trust, into this belief that God can change things.
Right.
Even at the last moment.
So it's more than just giving money.
Oh, yeah. That's
about putting your actions where your beliefs are.
Exactly.
Making it real,
And, it's not just about money. It's like, what part of your life could use that 11th hour principle?
Wow.
Like a relationship that seems broken.
Yeah.
Or a dream you've given up on.
Mm-hmm.
What if you surrender that to the God of the 11th hour?
You're really making us think here.
I hope so.
And like you said, this isn't just about feeling good, right? It takes real work to really look inside yourself.
To be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And be willing to step outside of your comfort zone.
But the potential is huge.
It is.
I mean, what if by surrendering control, we open ourselves up to things we never thought possible?
What if we see breakthroughs in places we'd given up on?
It's an incredible thought.
It is.
And it goes back to your question from before. If you were to take Pastor Easy's perspective, what's your word of faith, right now?
I really want you all to think about that.
Yeah.
It's a personal question,
For sure.
The answer is going to be different for everyone. But I think the important thing is to choose something that means something to you.
Okay.
Something that speaks to your heart.
Yeah.
Even if it seems crazy or impossible.
And remember, it's not about pretending everything is fine.
No, not at all.
Right. It's about focusing on God's promises and believing he can bring good out of bad. Yeah. And speaking those truths out loud.
Even when you can't see the proof.
Because sometimes just saying it out loud can change your perspective and ignite hope.
It can set things in motion.
Yeah.
You never know.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I really want you listening right now to just take a minute and think about what you heard.
What stuck with you?
Yeah, what challenged you?
What word of faith will you choose for your life?
Maybe it's healing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's restoration.
Provision.
Breakthrough.
Hold on to that word.
Let it grow.
And watch as God works in amazing ways.
And don't be afraid to share it with someone you trust.
Yeah, someone who can support you.
Because sometimes saying it out loud can unlock something incredible.
Inside you.
Yeah.
And in those around you.
And who knows, your word of faith. Maybe it'll spark an 11th hour miracle.
In your life or someone else's.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Keep searching, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep believing.
In the power of possibility.
We'll see you next time.